tempus fugit, literally. 100 years. 2019 marks a century for three of the world's major commercial airlines, and Business Traveller is invited to the celebration. KLM is the oldest airline in the world, with an enduring spirit of innovation. British Airways, the carrier that's led the way and influenced fashion in the skies. And Avianca, Colombia's flag carrier, oldest airline in Latin America and second oldest in the world. Centenarians, let the celebrations begin. Hello and welcome to CNN Business Traveller. I'm Richard Quest, this month reporting from Amsterdam. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. On this month's programme, we're going to be looking at the airlines celebrating 100 years old. KLM Royal Dutch Airlines officially turns 100 this month, October 2019. The world's oldest commercial airline started flying only 17 years after the Wright brothers first flew. 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright took off near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and flew for 12 seconds. And from that first flight, everything followed. So you had 100 years, and you've chosen, by the way, the October date of 1919 rather than when the first flight, which was the following year, haven't you? Why is that?
Yeah. No, the airline was founded back in 1919 in October, and next year we had our first flight actually between Amsterdam and London. That's very meaningful. It's still sort of the largest route we have in our network.
It wasn't long before you're going long haul.
Our first long haul flight was back in 1924 to Batavia at that time, today's Jakarta in Indonesia.
Back then, this roughly 11,000 kilometre journey took weeks. Compare it to today's longest flight on Singapore Airlines. Singapore to New Jersey, almost 17,000 kilometres completed in over 17 hours. I meet KLM's chief executive, Peter Elbers, in the hangar at Schiphol Airport, the home hub for the Dutch carrier. Peter is one of the most respected CEOs in aviation and has been with KLM for 27 years, becoming the boss in 2014. He proudly shows me a vintage DC-3 on display, specially for the occasion. This was built in 44, yeah. And it actually saw service at D-Day.
Exactly, yeah.
It did.
Welcome on board, sir. Go ahead.
Just give me that. It's quite important, though, to see where you came from, to know where you're going to.
Well, we keep a lot of things out of the history of our company. I think it's important. It's also sort of testament that we can never take our existence for granted. We should keep on innovating, keep moving forward, and yet learn from the history.
So KLM stands for?
KLM stands for Koninklijke Luchtvaartmaatschappij.
I got to do it by bit.
Koninklijke.
Koninklijke.
Luchtvaart.
Luchtvaart.
Maatschappij.
Maatschappij.
Well done, you're hired.
As benefiting its age, KLM has a host of firsts to its name. The first transatlantic flight in 1934, acquiring the first wide-bodied plane in Europe in 1971, and the creation of the first transnational airline group in Europe when it merged with Air France. That merger has been fraught with claims that KLM suffers as the junior partner. So much so, the Dutch government this year paid $775 million for more than 12% of the merged group Air France-KLM, nearly the same stake as the French government's. There must have been a fear that KLM's nationality or identity was being eroded. Otherwise, the Dutch government wouldn't have bought the stake to match the French.
Well, that was the fear in 2003, just before the Air France KLM creation was done. So in 2003 there were all the stories, the brand will disappear, it will go away. The reality today, 15 years later, is we are bigger, we are stronger, we have a great network, we have great partners. The cooperation on that sense works nice, and we put even more emphasis on our Dutch heritage than we did before.
KLM guards its heritage in the airline's archives. This is a walk down runways of the past to the moment when KLM was born.
You see first a letter of the secretary of Queen Wilhelmina, where she gave the KLM, before they even were founded, the royal designation. Next of it you see the chart here, which the co-pilot used for the first long-haul flight to Dutch East Indies. On this plate you see the old flight. It took about a week to go from Amsterdam to the final destination.
And there's a gallery of celebrity photos too.
In this section you see the celebrities. So you have Josephine Baker here, actor Omar Sharif, Maria Callas, and last but not least Ella Fitzgerald with the Dutch tulips and the KLM bag. Heading for a long day, she had 2 performances to do that night, and I love the music, so it's nice to have her here in our exhibition.
KLM is an example that legacies can change and thrive given the right routes, structure and economics. How do you survive the next 100?
Innovate, attract good people, make sure that we make a great connections between our customers and our employees, and that's where the differentiation is.